How are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. So it's mid-August now, and maybe some of you are wondering, same as myself, what happened to the growing season? It just got away on us. Well, in this video we're going to give you a little tour of our newest no-dig garden, and it's the 12-month tour of the garden right here in the background. It's been a couple of weeks since we've made a new video because we've had a couple of new arrivals here on our homestead, and I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot more of them in the upcoming videos. This year it's definitely been a balance between keeping the existing vegetation from taking over our gardens, our growing areas I should say, that we've already set up with no dig. We're using a number of different techniques to try and reduce the weed pressure, and we will be talking about those in the video too. You'll see some examples of it as well, like canopy gardening for example. In most of our gardens we're following the 7 layers of the forest model, except we don't bother with the canopy layer, of course, because here in Ireland we don't have quite that much sunlight. Also, we've been preparing our website. We're redoing the website, and we are putting up our pre-sale for the winter selection in the next coming days. So stay tuned, and it's going to be very exciting. We've got new products, and as always we're going to give you an early bird discount. As usual, most of our gardens are a bit of a balance between using the space available and filling it with useful plants that we actually cultivated. We grow all of these plants from seed or from cuttings or from tubers. So I've decided to approach our back garden and from this side here. We have a bit of a container garden on here. More about that later. I'll make a separate video about that. Let's go through our willow arch. The willow cuttings, of course, will also be available as part of the winter selection pre-sale as well. So some of you will remember our pizza garden, and when it was installed 3 years ago we put out a number of videos on how we made it. And it used to be just an annual vegetable garden. Now it's more of a berry breeding garden, which means that we're letting the birds plant new varieties of currants and raspberries and such, which you can see it has very much perennialized, with the odd annual vegetable in between, like the purple tree spinach. This is early morning now, so we've got a lot of hue on all the plants. And of course the great mullein. Got lots of those in our gardens. Great for the insects and great for us. This is fennel, and you can smell it from quite a distance away. It's our little fennel patch. And this is the Daubington kale, and it's just a beautiful kind of, what's that called, variegated white colour on the sides. It's very ornamental and edible at the same time. It's got some flowers in between too, like yarrow and echinacea. Also some comfrey, and look at the size of this comfrey plant. It's about maybe a metre in diameter. That's just one plant. It's doing really well here. This is the Taunton Dean kale. You'll see plenty of that in this garden. This is marshmallow, which is about to flower. Oh yeah, we also have a new fig variety here from Galway, thanks to our friends from the Bull on Ark in Loughrea. Take a look at this. This is lamb's ear, and it's super hairy and really soft when it's not wet. When it's dry, it feels like literally feels like a lamb's ear. It's really nice, especially for the kids, for a sensory garden. Get them interested in the gardens. But you can see this entire area here used to be just grass, and before that, 6 years ago, it was actually 1 year ago it was only grass, and 6 years ago it was only briars and thistles. But you can see with the help of a tractor with the front loader initially, getting rid of the briars, and with the help of the chickens, getting rid of the grass. We've established it now. Look who is here, our kitten. She's hiding in there. She's very brave to come out this far. Unfortunately, our other cats are chasing her, at least in some places on our property. It's a territorial thing with cats. You can see we have some new varieties of gooseberries as well. Some red hinanmaki as well. That's the Japanese gooseberry, well known for their green variety because the birds don't spot them. Look at this. This is actually Olympic mullen. It's also known as orange mullen. We've got rhubarb here, Glaston's perpetual, which can still be picked now after midsummer up until about October. And we've also got some Victoria. And these are 1-year-old plants from seed last year. You can see we've got quite the production going on here, and that's only about 4 or 5 inches of compost in this entire garden here. I'll try not to catch my own shadow too much in this video because the sun is quite low at the moment. Of course, it is very early in the morning now, which is not our usual time to make videos. This is the mashua, and I made these tripods, or maybe even tripods with an extra couple of legs to have them climb up and use all the vertical space. I found that the mashua just produces far better when it is able to climb, even up a hedge or some trees. Here she is now. Here, come here. How are you doing? Hello, kitten. We adopted her. She was found lost as a kitten somewhere in the middle of nowhere, not even anywhere near houses. And this is the marsh woundwort, and finally this year now we have a good stock of them. We used to sell it a couple of years ago, but then it sold out completely. And a lot of you have been asking about it, and it's actually a starchy root, and you can also use it for closing wounds or clotting blood, same as the yarrow or the soldier's woundwort. So it's a great plant to have, but also the root's really nice. It's very similar to the Chinese artichoke, and you can see the bees love it too. You should see it during the day, in the middle of the day, especially on a dry day. There'd be loads of insects buzzing around the marsh woundwort. Yeah, let's take a walk up this way. This is some yacon. That is a really nice tuber to eat. You can dig it up in the winter. It's also known as winter's apple. So we'll be eating that during the winter time. It's kind of like eating a fruit. It's really crisp. You can see we've got some new plantings here and a bit of horseradish, a huge horseradish over here. Again, only a 1-year-old plant, but we're going to get a good harvest of roots off that. And some of you might be worried about the horseradish taking over. Well, we've got lots of other plants, cultivated plants actually competing in the nearby area, so we're not worried about that. And even if it does take over a little, we'll simply dig it up, or we'll simply pull it up in our no-dig garden. It's very easy to do. And simply use it. Make new plants or use it in our cooking or preserve it. You can see there's some Jacob's ladders. That is a blue and yellow flower. It's perennial. It's really nice and it's really hardy. It'll come back year after year. Interplanted with some black magic, which is a kind of a version of black Tuscany, or the Cavaliero. Is that how you say it? The Italian kale anyway, the dinosaur kale, or Nero, but wider leaves. And I want to show you this. We finally made an attempt at growing lettuces. So you can see here, They are getting a little weedy though, you can see. I do need to come through here. This is because we're right here under the trees, or right beside these ash trees, and unfortunately some of the areas here now we'll have to take care of a little more than others. We're bordering onto a bit of grass here. I need to cover that and try to reduce that to a minimum, especially next year, before the next growing season anyway. We've got lots of lemon balm for tea as well, to people coming here to visit, going on our forage walks and everything. And we've got a forage walk coming up actually this Sunday, if you're interested. Take a look at our website. This is worth showing too. We've got some nettles. We do want to keep some patches of nettles, but we try to keep those at bay. We try to block the roots from taking over the path, but also the seeds as well. You don't want it going to seed. So we've already cut this back twice this year, and you can see it's still trying. Still going to see. I have to cut it back a third time now this summer. And look at this, the great mullein has blocked the way. It's like a barrier. A little bit weedy this part of the garden here, you can see. But still it's a work in progress, and it's still an establishment. But in general, the entire garden is doing really well. Take a look at these dahlias. I grew those from seed last year, and they've done tremendously well. I just went for mixed varieties, and you can see even the bees love those too. And I did not dig them up in the winter. Last winter we had temperatures of -8 here, and I didn't even mulch them with wood chips or anything. So they survived. They survived a lot better than my yacons. The yacons mostly actually withered away and rotted in spring. So you have to dig up your yacons if it's not a mild winter. Definitely if it's a very cold winter, you should dig them up. This is the Taunton Dean kale in all its glory. Definitely our new favourite variety, simply because it's the most hardy. It's the most winter hardy also, but it grows and grows and grows, and you can simply take one cutting and make more cuttings as you go. And you can see a Chinese potato climbing up onto the top of it here, and that's fine. Here's another one. Looks kind of like bindweed, but it is not. It's far from it. It's a perennial potato. And one last, and a very unusual one at this time of year, oriental poppy here. Not sure why that's going to flower now, but sure, it's beautiful all the same. This is a self-seeded purple tree spinach. I'll be having some of those for breakfast now. What are you doing here? Come here. So cuddly. Kitten. We never actually give her a name, we just call her Kitten, and that is her name. So this is the motherwort, which is a really nice plant. It looks kind of like a nettle, but the bees love it as well. All the pollinators do. And you can see here, unfortunately, our Jerusalem artichokes have done it again. They have fallen over, partially due to the wind, but probably mainly because of the rain actually pushing them down. And they've covered one of my paths. Oh well, we won't be using that path for a while now, because it would be quite counterproductive to just chop all of this now. Well, luckily we've got other paths that we can take, and that's the whole idea in our gardens. We've always got multiple ways to go in case one of the paths becomes inaccessible. Yeah, down this way we've had a patch of red Russian kale, and we have let it go to seed, and it's replanted itself. So there's not much to see there at the moment. It's one of our new varieties of willow here. The Kamii, I believe that is. thanks to our friend Saffron in northern Roscommon. If you're watching this, Saffron, thank you very much. And we do have some regular old Nero kale in between too, because it's quite ornamental. And by the way, with these Neros, we found that if you stop it from going to seed in spring, it actually seems to just keep producing leaves for the whole season. So it does really well like that. We've also got some courgette plants planted in between, but there isn't really enough space here for them, so they don't produce that much. A courgette plant needs about a square meter, so you can see here. And those all went to seed in early spring, and we just cut the seed stalk off, and they kept growing. We've got lots of leaves off them since. We've got red hot poker here, that's the Nymphophia. Not sure if those seeds could be used. If you could let me know in the comments, that would be very helpful. We let them dry first, of course. You can see them here. We've got lots of echinaceas that we grew from seed 3 years ago. As you can see, the sun is now coming out. I must make a video of the Taunton Dean after dark when I'm doing a bit of midnight gardening. That's the only time of the day that I really have to get some of the extra work done. But it looks really nice when there's all hue on them, especially in the evening time. It's kind of magical. This is some lovage here. You can see there is some grass growing here, and that's actually the original border between our Brassica Island, as it used to be known as. That's that garden. It's just a small little garden where the compost pile used to be, and then our new garden here. So we simply never dealt with it, and this is what happens. Thankfully it didn't spread. We definitely didn't let it go to seed, but we do need to take care of it, and we might just take up some of it and then cover it with plastic over the winter, and that should take care of it. And there's so much more to show you at our other garden, and we'll do that in the next coming days. We might even do that next week as a video, a little tour of our other garden. We do have several other smaller gardens around our house, and those would be worth visiting too in the coming weeks. Isn't that right, kitten? She follows you like a pet through the gardens. All of our cats actually follow you through the garden. So we'll come back through here and look at that. That's actually a plum tree on the left side here. You can see that with the sun. The lighting is not ideal here now. And a curly willow. We've got condensation on the lens. As I said to you, I'm not used to making videos at this time of the day. It's actually really early in the morning now. Normally I'd be making the videos in the evening or in the afternoons. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing or join our email list if you like. We do have some tours coming up of our gardens, in-person tours. And if you'd like to come along, please do refer to our website. Take a look at our website and you can get some tickets there and more information and reviews of previous attendees as well. We have a course coming up this Sunday actually as well of growing food using no-dig gardening, and a forage garden walk as well. And a homesteading course the week after, and plant propagation next week. So lots of different courses coming up, and our winter pre-sale as well. So stay tuned for that. In the next few days, we'll let you know, we'll announce it. I'll see you the next time. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. All the best.